Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave me a comment on today's content. What we're going to do today is add a extension tube extension to the 20 gauge shotgun. The shotgun is a Charles Daly 601 in 20 gauge. Factory capacity is 4+1, and we're going to be using the Choate Machine Tool Company kit for it. We'll go to it in a little bit more detail. Let me reposition the camera. So again, today what we have is the Charles Daly 601 shotgun in 20 gauge. It is a 4+1. So we're going to be adding the Choate Machine and Tool Company kit, which comes in with a extension tube, a spring, also a barrel clamp, and then also the restrictor on there. It does not come with a follower, so we have to use the stock follower. I bought a aftermarket follower and also an extended spring, just in case I need to retune it to allow for the tension to be for the shell. But it does come with the spring, and on that, first thing you have to do is cut the end off on the factory tube here. Initially, I cut one threads off of there, but that was not enough because the tube threads was shallow and it would not bottom out to keep everything tight. So ended up cutting off a little bit more. I think in total I cut roughly 2.5 threads or 3. But the main thing is you want to make sure that if you how much you cut off, is that if you want to go back to the original stock configuration, that you can put the cap back on, the thread on that, so that you don't have to have that extension if you choose to go back. But you don't want to cut too much off of it. So the main thing there is making sure you deburr, sand, and polish this area. You want to make sure that the follower doesn't bind or snag or anything like that. You also want to make sure that the spring doesn't catch in there and bind, and then the shell binding. But the factory follower, you can use that. Again, it's not a nice coating like the aftermarket or not, but it will work. You just leave the follower. You wouldn't need the end cap or the cup that you took off of the original inside the tube. But so what we'll do is go ahead, just to touch base also. These are, in my opinion, are budget shotgun, imported, made in Turkey. You got some people out there that's going to say, well, they're trash. Some are going to be, oh, well, you know, it all depends. Again, yeah, it's a budget shotgun. I sand and polish the extension here and everything else that is in contact to make sure that it's smooth. Lube, you know, as far as making sure that it's lubed up. But overall, at the end of the video here, you'll see me at the range testing this out. I've loaded to 6, 7, and 8. I did not go all the way to the 9+1 that the kit is rated for. But again, I might end up using the extended spring so that I can get a little bit more pressure on the shell. Again, it all depends. But so far, it's been running well with this particular setup. Now, I'm not certain what the Charles Daly thread is on this tube, but appears to fit with the Remington threads. These are square cut threads. So, and now it could be Benelli. It could be, you know, again, I don't know. I don't have the way to measure this or make sure it's certain that it's the correct thread. But this seemed to thread on fine, and it's secure. You can also clamp it down with the barrel clamp here. But let's go ahead and put everything back. And so what we need to do is go ahead and put the barrel back on. Okay, barrel's back on. We'll go ahead and put the handguard on. And then we'll put the part of the spring in, and then we're going to use the rest of the tube to add that in there. And basically we're just going to thread it back on. Making sure that the barrel and everything is seated back, and that's real tight. You can put a strap wrench on that to make sure that it's all solid. So recap, I took about 2.5, 3 threads off of the end of the factory tube, sand, deburr sand, and polish the edges. Make sure there's no possible way for the follower to snag, or the spring to snag, or the shell to snag on that transition area. And again, stay tuned for the video. It's testing it out. Seems to be running fine with the extension. Everything seems to be working. Eventually I might put a red dot on here, but right now we're just gonna go with the front sight on there. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Thank you for watching.